The following podcast contains coarse language and adult themes. This week on the show, sweet dreams are made of these, and who am I to disagree? We're talking Neil Gaiman's 11-episode nocturnal Netflix nightmare, The Sandman. I'm Regs.
And I'm Aady.
And this is the Film Addicts Podcast. Hey friends, welcome back to the Film Addicts Podcast. I'm here with Aady. How you doing, mate?
I am doing good. How have you been?
I'm good. It's been a little while since we've done this because I was off busy doing other things, and we had a couple of episodes in the pocket. So it's good to see you. It's good to be back online with all of our wonderful listeners here and talking about the Sandman. But we've got a lot of other things to talk about too because it's been such a long time since we caught up. And you've come up with an idea for another segment. We are fucking orange here, ladies and gentlemen. We're just made of segments. What's the segment, Aady?
The segment is, what are we watching?
What are we watching? And then, hey, Johnny, I know you're listening, buddy. JP, I need another tune, mate. Fix it, brother, up. I need another tune, mate. I'm jonesing. I'll suck your dick. Oh, dear. Johnny might call me about that. But yeah, we need another tune, Johnny. Please give us a call, pornographic or otherwise. So what are we watching? Let's start with you, Aady.
First of all, a shout out to Johnny who just started The Sandman.
Did he?
Last week.
Okay, cool.
He did. So shout out to him. Hope you're enjoying it.
Yeah, I actually saw him because we had Johnny's not only our composer for a lot of things, but he's also one of the guys who works with us at the studio that we have, Cable Sound Studios, and we're doing some work down there at the moment. And he wrote like a theme for the studio for our crew and stuff. And we've had all these musicians coming in, violin players and DJs and pianists and drummers and singers and guitarists and bass players. All these people come in and record little separate sections, and we're doing a big promo for it, like a big trailer for the opening of the studio. I mean, the studio's open, but sort of the grand opening kind of thing. And fuck, it's a good tune, Johnny. Jesus, it's stuck in my head every day. And I know I'm editing to it, but still, you're a genius. Anyway, enough blowing Johnny. And I hope he's enjoying Sandman. What are you watching?
I finished season 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
I finished my 18th rewatch of Normal People.
Well, if you're going to do something, do it often.
Yeah.
I've only gone through it once, like we were talking about, and I think that might be next week's episode. It is probably one of the best melodramas I've ever seen, and the acting is just second to none. Daisy, what's her name?
Daisy Edgar Jones.
Daisy Duke. Yep, Daisy Edgar Jones should just be in everything all of the time. And would somebody at DC fucking cast that kid as Dick Grayson? I've been waiting to say that for weeks. What's his name?
You say Paul Mescal as Dick Grayson, please.
Make it happen. He's got everything. He's got the sweetness and the vulnerability, and getting to bulk up into an American accent. In fact, I don't even fucking care if he's got an Irish accent. That's totally fine. Make it happen. It's Yeah, what a wonderful show. But 18, that's a lot of times.
Yeah. Did you know that Daisy Edgar Jones is not actually Irish? So she puts on an Irish accent in the show?
What? That was my head blowing up. What is she then?
She's English.
Oh, okay. Geez, she nails it.
I know, right?
Seen her in a few things, just randomly before watching Normal People. She was in that show with Andrew Garfield, Under the Banner of Heaven. And she was also in a film that I went and saw recently, where the Crawdaddies sing, and that's amazing film. And she's doing a bunch of accents. So yeah, there you go. What a talented person.
And she's in another film.
Fuck it all. I'm sorry to cut you off. Just fucking fuck everything. Cast him as Dick Grayson and cast her as Barbara Gordon, and just shut up. Hey, the internet, shut up. Just make that happen.
Yeah.
I seriously can't think of a better cast for Nightwing anymore. I don't have any. Like, I know there's someone who plays him on television already in Titans, and he does a fine job. He's an Australian kid too, no less. But yeah, my heart has been stole.
I know.
So
I love how you were like, because I wasn't watching Sandman, and you were like, I'm going to watch Normal People, and you tricked me into watching Sandman. Because you're like, I'm watching Normal People, so you need to watch Sandman.
It was a bit of a deal that we had going, but that's okay. So Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Normal People 18 times. Anything else? Have you been to the cinema?
Oh, I did. I finished my midterm, and as soon as I finished my midterm, I sneaked out to the cinema and watched this film called The Invitation.
Okay, I don't know that one.
It's a horror film about... So I had no idea. I just checked the show timings, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just go.
Okay.
I checked. So I went in, and it was like a horror film. That's all I knew.
Yep.
It was pretty good. It was the first time in a long while I went to the theater alone and watched a film that I had no idea about. I liked it.
Okay, well, that's good. That's awesome. I go to the cinema all the time by myself.
I know.
Most of the time. So yeah, that's not unusual. And it's The Invitation. I haven't heard of it at all. Who's in that one?
Wow. So they're not like, oh shit. Yeah. There's an actress from Game of Thrones in that has the lead role, and that's all I know.
Okay. Is it new, or is it like it was an older film that you went to see?
No, it's new. It's on digital now, but it's a new release.
Okay. All right, I will peep it. Anything else?
No, not really. I've been going back to Ben 10 a lot.
Ben Tennyson. He's pretty great. Calls upon all sorts of monsters and never gets burned at the stake. That's witchcraft if it's anything. I know they're aliens, aren't they? Maybe I'll shut up.
Yeah, aliens. Oh shit! I've been watching House of Dragon and The Rings of Power also.
Yeah, is the Rings show good? Like House of Power, you can't avoid. I'm not watching it myself, but you can't avoid it. Rings of Power. I mean, I don't want to talk about the fucking controversy around it and people who are horrible pieces of shit. But I couldn't even read that thing you sent me, which was like, look at the comments, in this post. I'm like, no, I don't want. I can't open the door to that kind of ignorance in my life. It's just what a waste of time. But is the show good? Are you enjoying it?
Oh yeah, I contrary to everyone who's on the fucking internet, I'm actually really enjoying it.
That's awesome. Who is it?
You gone?
Sorry, is the controversy that people are racist pieces of shit, or is it that they don't like the show because the story's not good or something?
There are parts where you can see some holes in the story, but also it's only had 4 episodes.
Okay. Well, yeah. Give it a sec. Would you give it a sec? There's got to be this.
And they dropped the first 2 episodes, and I was watching the first episode, and the first time I watched the first episode, I was in tears. I couldn't remember anything because I never fucking thought I would watch something out of the Tolkien universe again with characters that I know. I had to rewatch it again, and it's really amazing how it feels familiar and it feels new at the same time. And the show looks so amazing. It does look really so amazing.
Yeah. I've seen of the trailers and excuse me, things I've seen, it does look really good. I haven't caught it yet. I'm kind of in a different headspace at the moment as far as what I'm consuming media wise.
Yeah. And yes, as of recording this, She-Hulk has had 6 episodes. And I've enjoyed every single...
I've dropped off. What's going on in there?
It's fun. It's not what you expect. It's not your typical superhero show. It's like a corner of the MCU where everyone can hang out and like have a beer and just chill out.
Sure. That's a good way to put it, I guess. And that's kind of what they were doing those first couple episodes, just getting fucking mashed on Bruce's Island, no less.
Yeah. But the recent episode, it's the wedding episode. It's called Jen Only or Just Jen. I didn't like that one bit.
No? Okay. The wedding
because like, yeah, she goes to a wedding.
Oh, she goes to one. Okay, right, yeah.
Yeah. The reason why that is because like the episode before that we had a tease for Daredevil.
Yeah, right.
And then like this is like the whole joke is that like because I love that like she fourth wall breaks and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Which this segment is going really long.
Doesn't matter. It's fine.
But yeah, so she says that if you think that this episode comes in an inconvenient time in the season, it's because it is. That's how weddings are. And I was like, okay, sure, but
fair enough.
Anyway,
I mean, they're hanging a lot on the comedy, and that's fine. They're trying something different, I guess. I've been busy with other things, so I've kind of
Yeah, I mean, the most that I can say about She-Hulk is that if you like, it's something that if you don't watch, you're not gonna miss a lot. It's also like a chill out zone for a lot of fans who are like just fatigued and everything.
Yeah, I feel like that's a big part of it. Yeah, I've been going back to, like I said, going back to the well as far as stuff goes, because I'm kind of... It's been a weird year for Hollywood, like, and particularly this stuff, the Marvel of it all, not just Marvel, but all of it, DC. There's so much controversy and people have so many opinions, and a lot of it's... I've watched a lot of stuff lately that kind of strikes me as, more... What's the word? I don't know. Things like reality is starting to crash in on what I'm wanting to watch, and I don't even mean reality in terms of stories that are real. I rewatched the Christopher Reeve Superman, the 1978 film, with my sister-in-law the other night in 4K because she'd never seen it. And fuck, man, it's like, it's a dude, it's light hitting objects, and it's a dude on a thing, and he's doing flying, and it's all practical miniatures and all this kind of stuff, and it just, something about it is speaking to me in a different way. And then I went and saw Fight Club. There was a legacy screening at the Cameo in Belgrave here, which is the cinema that I go to pretty regularly. It's either that or the Astor. And I saw, Fight Club again. And I'd never seen it in the big screen because I was, too young when I was, first watching it. And when it first came out, rather. And just the craft of it and the attention to detail. It's just something else. And I'm currently working on a screenplay that's very wordy. It's a Western, and it kind of needs to have that, what I call like the Deadwood version of what a Western is, which is dirty Shakespeare, basically. Everyone speaks quite eloquently, but it's rough what they're talking about, and there's a lot of swear words in between stuff. But it's also based on not Deadwood. The thing that I'm working on is based on something that's like like an old text. So I needed to have good dialogue in my ear. So I'm rewatching Deadwood, Mad Men, and Justified to just get that kind of feel, and going back into that world as well, and then trying to watch, after watching like an entire season of Mad Men or Deadwood, and then trying to watch She-Hulk, it's almost impossible. There's no, the disparity is too great, and so I'm a little bit, And I'm happy to see all these news. We'll bring it up in the nerd news. There's lots of cool stuff coming, but I'm looking backwards a little bit more, not to, things that yes, definitely to things that I've enjoyed in the past, older movies, older TV shows, like I said, going back to the world, but also looking at stuff that I haven't seen of that time period. Like my favorite era for movies is, late 60s to late 70s, that awesome little period where you had just a cavalcade of just some of the best movies ever made, the best performances, the best directors, the best screenwriters. Like, it's just, really powerful stuff. And another thing that hit me was the TV remake, or like modern remake of American Gigolo, which is a Paul Schrader film that had Richard Gere in it. It was like 1984 or something. They're doing that with John Bernthal at the moment, and that's two episodes in, and I'm right on board with that. So yeah, just a few less big green people and a couple more real people for me. A couple more cowboys and executives who drink too much. How the fuck the 7th season of Mad Men isn't all of them in an iron lung, or all of them, like, I know spoilers for the end of Mad Men, Betty gets cancer from smoking, but how they're not all like completely sick all the time. And can you imagine drinking like brown liquor, like spirits, in the middle of the fucking day? My God, I'd never get nothing done. Still a good show though. Don't try and like quit drinking or smoking while you're watching it though. It would be impossible. But I don't do either of those things, so it doesn't matter. Just eat my sour gummy worms. So that's what I'm watching. Shall we get into a bit of nerd news before we hit up Sandman?
Yeah, sure. Let's hit some nerd news.
It's nerd news. All right, some interesting stuff. A lot of it is, funnily enough, after my huge big rant there, a lot of it is Marvel and comic movie based, just because so much has come out in such a short period of time. So we'll kind of hit things a little quickly here. One of the ones that is I'm very excited about is that The Punisher, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage are all set to appear in Daredevil Born Again, the Disney reboot of...
Soft reboot.
I
mean, we don't know anything until Daredevil shows up in She-Hulk.
Yeah, which is probably, he'll be in it for about 5 minutes. But look, I mean, I love all those actors. I love the characters, Daredevil and Punisher in particular. Jessica Jones was such a great series. Luke Cage was really great as well. Like the first season of that is stellar. I don't care what anyone says. Go back to it and treat yourself. So yeah, that's pretty exciting. But yeah, what form that takes, who knows? Going from, again, small screen to big screen, we've got WandaVision. You know the WandaVision? You know the WandaVision? Yes. Sorry, I was just doing a German accent for no reason. I discovered a new accent. Do you want to hear it?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, cool. I went to the ballet last night because my wife Emily is a stage manager, and so me and my sister-in-law went to the ballet. Very posh, like I was suited and booted, and wearing nice stuff and everything. But it's not really my crowd. Let's put it that way. And there was a lot of people talking like they had money in their mouth, was basically it. And I discovered this guy who's kind of in between Marlon Brando and like a really posh British person. And you've got to jut your chin out all the way. So you've got to talk like this. And you say, yes, we summer there, but then in the winter we go to Cape Shank. And it's lovely. And, we just enjoy our time. We quilt. And we've had every single dog the family's had since 1978 cremated, all catching a ball. Like something stupid like that. And then for some reason this came up. We were just talking, and me and my sister-in-law, and I was doing this stupid voice.
I was like, yes, let's make sure we get into there quickly because I need to sit down and drink my champagne and eat my basket of hot prunes.
Like, who eats hot prunes? In a basket,
What the
no
fuck
less.
What the
I don't
fuck are
know.
prunes?
I don't know. I didn't say it. The fucking weird guy that lives in my head did. Anyway.
So that's
So basically, that's Stewie Griffin.
A little bit. It's actually, there's a character in Family Guy who's got a huge big underbite, like huge big jaw, and he's got a, but he doesn't talk. He's just like, and he can't actually enunciate very well. So it's kind of that. Anyway, it was good fun. But yeah, back to fucking man, talk about a tangent. Back to WandaVision news. Well, it's not really one.
That's the podcast, man.
Yeah.
I'm actually seriously debating changing that to the tangent.
The tangent, yeah. That's, I mean, tangents. I have to do a separate edit of all the stupid shit that we say when we're like not talking about what we should be talking about. Yeah, sorry. WandaVision director Max Shackman, is it Shackman? That's how it's spelt.
Yes.
Will reportedly direct, he has signed on to direct, The Fantastic Four. And they're currently working on a script and in the middle of casting as well. So congratulations, Matt. So it's good because WandaVision was a very well-directed show. So this one interests me.
I am so happy with that news.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good for him, and it's good for the pedigree of the show and of the movie. You know, that he's proved himself doing a family drama. That's what that show was. Like they've done very well to get him to do that. The Kang Dynasty. Looking at the Dynasty of the Kangs, apparently Tobey Maguire is going to be in it.
Who the fuck is that?
It's been confirmed by a number of sources. They don't cite their sources, but then again, people on Instagram seldom do. He says, being Instagram. Yeah.
The sources trust me, bro.
Yeah. So trust me, mate. Oh, I'll bring it in. I'll bring it in tomorrow. Yeah. Fucking cool. No worries. I don't know who he's.
Yeah, sure.
Maybe he won't even play Spider-Man. Maybe it'd be somebody else. It'd be MODOK. He got a big head.
I mean, where did you get that from, dude?
MODOK has a big head. And so
yeah, but Tobey Maguire does it all okay.
It does. It's all right. It suits him. It fits him.
Yeah.
He had a beautiful big millionaire head.
Yeah, I thought you were saying Tobey Maguire has a MODOK head. I was like, what the fuck?
Not entirely. It can work, and that's, I love it. Yeah. This one also interests me, but not really for the reason that the story tells you, but for another reason. Sir Ben Kingsley will reportedly return as Trevor Slattery in the upcoming Wonder Man series, which is supposed to be Wonder Man in the comics is like a superhero celebrity, movie star and stuff. And I think it'll be good, like satirizing Hollywood in the same way that She-Hulk seems to be satirizing the legal profession. But if you're going to do that, if you want to do Wonder Man, would you just fucking bite the bullet and cast Nathan Fillion already? There's been talk.
I need him. I need him in anything Marvel. I just need him.
He's been he was an extra in not an extra. He was a featured extra in the Guardians films, and he had a bigger role in the second one, but he was cut for some reason. I can't imagine why. There's obviously some story behind it. It was a long film, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, just as a key role would be really good. He's 50 something or close to 50 at least, but he's still in good shape. And I watched The Rookie. He's still got great acting chops. Like, make it happen. 20-year anniversary of Firefly this week too. I can't believe that got less than one full season, and the Kardashians are still on.
Yeah, we had an interesting conversation about that.
Yeah, like what a remarkable injustice in the world. Anyway, moving on. I don't know if you saw this, came out today. An ultra-violent deleted scene. I saw that. Yeah, from
oh my god,
attacking Kamatage has been released. It's just the stunt people going through what would have been the fight, and she's She literally uses a decapitated body, like, and reanimates it to fight other dudes. Like, I said it in the post that when I shared it, 50% better movie if they'd have left that in. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
I think because I was listening to that episode of our show, and it just if it like got the rating above PG-13, it would have been so much better, because then you would have been finally able to unleash Sam Raimi into doing the shit that he wants.
Yeah. I mean, if DC can throw around R-rated movies all the time, and Peacemaker and all that stuff, and if The Boys can be successful, I mean, I know Marvel is under the Disney banner and they have to do that, but yeah, I don't know. Take a risk. I reckon they would be well rewarded for it. I don't know how they're going to manage doing Punisher at some point, but next, I'm of two minds about this. Warner Brothers has greenlit a constant scene. It's a constant scene. Fuck. Has greenlit a Constantine sequel starring Keanu Reeves and Francis Lawrence to return. It's a direct sequel from their film that they made in, was it 2005 or something like that? To older Constantine.
Please let that not be true.
Well, I mean, I don't mind.
The first part.
Yeah, I didn't not like it. I kind of like that movie, even though Constantine is like misrepresented to the like the origins of the character from the Alan Moore Swamp Thing series. British blonde dude who's this now written in today's terms, this pansexual kind of dark detective, and it's wonderful. So I'm like, oh, cool, that's great. I love Keanu. I kind of like that movie. I'd be interested to see what that version of the story is, but it also means that the show that J.J. Abrams was developing is now defunct. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. That guy got a lot of money to do nothing. His Bad Robot got, I don't even remember the amount it was, but it was a lot of money to build stories within the DC universe. One of the things that we're going to do was a story about Val Zod, which is the African American Superman. Well, he's Kryptonian, but he's the president in an alternate. I think it's Earth 2 in the DC universe, and they've canned that as well. So that guy's just take the money and run. Oh, the other thing I watched as well was Stop Making Sense. The Talking Heads movie. It's like a concert movie directed by Jonathan Demme. I saw it at the cinema, and now it's like one of my favorite pictures. I adore it. If you get a chance, it's free on YouTube. It's a 4K remaster as well. Stop Making Sense. It's one of the best concerts you'll ever watch. Even if you don't know the Talking Heads music, the pageantry is outrageous. Just going back to that thing. And just quickly, this one I quite enjoyed. So everybody knows that Marvel was going bankrupt in the 90s, and they were selling off their properties to conglomerates. That's how Sony ended up getting Spider-Man, just so they could pay their rent, so they can avoid Chapter 52 or whatever the fuck it is, Chapter 16, whatever chapter it is when you go bankrupt. And New Line Cinema owned the rights to Iron Man, right? And so when Marvel Studios, or whatever the version of Marvel Studios was before they started this, run of stuff, came to New Line to ask for Iron Man back, because I think they still had distributing rights. New Line said, yeah, sure you can, because they claimed they didn't believe that you would be able to make a character that heavy fly. And I said that to someone the other day, and they're like heavy as in like a big deal character, like a serious someone people know. I'm like, no, heavy as in the weight of iron, the iron suit that he's wearing. I'm like, he's got fucking rocket packs. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Idiots.
When Man of Steel was getting made, the writers were pitching the whole story to the executive producers.
Mm.
One of the fuckers at WB who was listening to all of it said, we can't destroy Superman's ship. And the writer said, why can't we? Because the thing was, like, in Man of Steel, the version that we didn't get to see was that Kal-El was going to use the pod that he came to Earth. He was going to use that pod to destroy the what the fuck is it called? The gravity machine. What the fuck is it called?
The
World Ender.
The world engine. Yeah, the terraforming.
Yeah.
Thing. Yep.
He was gonna use that to literally eradicate all Kryptonians on Earth, and it was going to be this. Is going to be this thing that the thing that brought him to this planet is the thing that then saved this planet. And they were like, we can't do that. And the writer asked, why can't we do that? And the producer said, well, if he destroys his pod, how is he going to go back to Krypton?
Oh, for fucking out loud. So enough of that nerd news. Let's get into the meat of the episode, the Sandman.
I've got something to say first.
Oh, okay, sure.
Sorry. Before we jump into that, on the day of this recording, it's 23rd of September.
It is.
And it's my best friend's birthday. So happy birthday, Leanne. This is for you. And everyone go follow her on Instagram. She's got a film account called Amateur Film and TV Critic.
Oh, yeah.
It's an amazing account.
Yeah, she rules.
So, yeah, happy birthday. You're amazing and stay amazing.
Happy birthday to you. I'll serenade. I'll do like a Marilyn Monroe.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Anyway, enough of my Marilyn Monroe impressions again. Like I said, we're talking about the Sandman from 2022. Long history of trying to get this thing to the screen. There was even a version of it that Neil Gaiman read in the 90s, I believe, and he said it was one of the worst things he'd ever read. And he didn't just mean a film script; he meant anything. But based on the comic book created by Neil Gaiman in 1989. And it ran from 1989 to 1993, and then switched from DC to the Vertigo imprint, which was the sort of more adult line imprint that DC had from 1993 till 2020. Neil Gaiman didn't work on them the entire time. He only worked on them for a period, but they do continue now. The character was like made up whole cloth. It kind of came at the time when DC was, obsessed with the British invasion. There's a really good British invasion of comic book artists and writers. There's a really good documentary called Future Shock about how in the late 80s, early 90s, all of the publishing houses started to mine British talent for their comic lines. And Vertigo was started almost to facilitate that. You had people like Neil Gaiman, like Mark Millar, like Warren Ellis. Warren Ellis? I think he's British. If he's not, sorry, Warren. And Grant Morrison, and they came out of Vertigo. Grant did Animal Man and Doom Patrol, and Neil obviously on Sandman. So it was a real switch of what was popular. While at the same time, over at Marvel, artists like Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld were doing that big pecs, big guns, big tit stuff that was really popular. Lots of pouches, lots of popular as well. So it was these two very, very different versions of. So much so that in Grant Morrison's run of Doom Patrol, he actually makes fun of that. And he would like invent all these teams. You know, every one of the issues that the Doom Patrol was fighting a new team of superheroes every minute, and they were all trademarked, and they all were drawn with no like really shitty little feet and stuff like Liefeld used to draw. And so it was kind of there was the combat of like actual literature versions of comics, and then this popcorn shit that's still quite popular today. I finished that sentence. But yeah, so it is a really great book. I've read it. There was all sorts of I've read them cover to cover. I started reading them in high school. A friend of mine gave them to me then, and she was big into mysticism or witchcraft and all that kind of stuff. And it was it really changed the way that I saw. Like, it was the first time I'd read a comic book that actually felt like literature, like I said. And I do recommend you go and pick them up. There was versions of this, whatever this show ended up being, for years. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was attached at one point, and they were going to do it as a movie. It works as a series so much better, and there's a bunch of reasons why. But let's get into it. I want to hear how you feel about it, Aady, because you're not exactly the target audience for this. Oh, okay, cool. Aady has just put in the meeting notes, Warren Ellis is indeed British.
And he talks like this.
He doesn't, actually. There's a really good documentary about him called Captured Ghosts, which is on YouTube, completely free to watch. He's a really interesting dude. Anyway, tell me about... I'm having a Sour Patch Kid, but tell me about Sandman for you, because like I said, you're not exactly the audience for this.
Yeah, I was I watched the trailer. I was like, it's a bit like I had no idea this was a comic character at all. I watched the first trailer, and then I usually go to bookshops to stare at comics that I can't buy because they're fucking expensive. I saw this collection, and every comic that it was in the collection, it all came up and said Sandman on the side. I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. And then I picked it up, and I saw the price. I was like, I can't buy that even if I sell myself.
I need to eat this week, for God's sake. I have that exact box set sitting right there behind me in my office, because I bought it years ago. But they're not cheap. So you haven't read any of the books, but you kind of, like you were saying before, you kind of only really watched this because I asked you to. Well, I didn't ask you to, but I suggested that you do it because I think it's really good. But you came away with a real appreciation.
We'll get into that because there's one episode that I've rewatched about 5 times. I watched the whole show, at least the 10 episodes. I've not watched the animated one because you told me that's not connected, because we were preparing for this and you said that's not connected. I was okay, sure.
It's not, but it enriches the experience, definitely. But it doesn't further the story or anything. It doesn't make the story that's already there richer or anything.
Sure. But so I started watching it, and I was hooked, man. It's if you follow me, you know that I'm huge into fantasy, any kind of fantasy, fucking dragons and dragons having sex. I'll fucking watch it.
You can find that on DeviantArt like that. You could do it. You could absolutely do it. It's like,
I'm not kidding.
From Bo Burnham, the Welcome to the Internet, how he says, we've got a bunch of coloured pencil drawings of all the different characters from Harry Potter fucking each other. Welcome to the Internet, because they do.
Dude, I'm not kidding. I sent you a text today saying, help me, because I think I fell in love with the dragon just by looking at an eye.
Dragons are beautiful creatures. They're fake.
They are, right?
They're beautiful creatures.
I mean, we don't know if they're fake or not. I'm pretty sure they're not fake.
Sure we do.
They're not fake. We just don't deserve them, right?
That's true. Yeah, we don't deserve dinosaurs either, but they're kicking around. In bird form.
Yeah.
Oh, science. So
tasty bird forms.
Oh, you son of a bitch. That is
I did that on
cold-blooded with your
purpose.
popcorn chicken. I'm gonna tell you. God damn Addie and his nuggies. So tell me, the basic story for anybody who hasn't seen it, and we're going to try and not spoil it too much anyway. There is a gentleman who like tries to call on death. He tries to invoke death and capture death. And by mistake of magic, he accidentally captures another god, Dream, or Morbius, the god of dreams. And he is imprisoned for
Morpheus, no Morbius.
I said Morbius, didn't I? Sorry, Jesus. Fucking
Yeah.
Jared Leto's ears just pricked up. He's like, someone's talking about me. Why did he sound like that? That's weird. Sound like Drake. Anyway, he gets Morpheus gets captured and held prisoner for over 100 years. And when he breaks out, he has to go and find his... He has to rebuild his kingdom, and he has to find his things, which is his helm, his helmet, the sand that he uses to, make his magic, and he has to go on, on this sort of quest, this road trip to go and find all these things. And then there's also a overarching subplot that becomes more important towards the end with the Corinthian, who was a creation, he was a nightmare created by Dream, fantastic, played by Boyd Holbrook.
Yep.
Really interesting because I haven't seen him like this.
Really? You've not seen Logan?
No, I have, but I haven't seen him like this. Like this is.
Oh yeah,
specific.
this is very deep.
Yeah, and the character design, and like we were talking about before, about kind of the computer generated nature of everything that comes out. It's almost, I was talking to an animator just a couple of days ago about some stuff that we're going to be doing early next year, and I'm like, I just want to shoot a plate and I want you to be able to put stuff in it, and I don't want to tell you what to do, and I want to shoot it real so that you can then, I don't want a blue screen, I want to do it in environment. Can you do that? Can you track animate? And he's like, yeah, I would love to. I want it to be integrated because it's so easy. People just pull the trigger on CG now as a knee-jerk reaction. Like, we'll fix it in post is the typical phrase. So a lot of it's kind of everything that can be done has been done in a lot of ways. And the thing that I really like about Sandman is that it is there. It has to be because it's such a huge idea. They're literally building worlds, but it's so integrated into the story and into also the cinematography, the set design, the composition, and everybody's kind of it lives. It actually has vibrancy as opposed to just. There were places where I couldn't tell what was what. Is that a lighting effect or is that some sort of CG? It's usually the marrying of the two. It really spoke to me in that respect. But yeah, sorry, I kind of cut you off. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about it?
It's weird because I didn't go in with like any previous knowledge or like any sort of expectation. I just fired it up, and it feels more of like a comic to me than like a show or anything, because like it has a collective of about 4 stories in those 10 episodes itself.
Yeah.
And I don't want to jump to it, but I'm really, anyway, yeah. The thing that I took from it most is that it's a very different kind of fantasy.
Yeah.
It's not your Game of Thrones, it's not your Lord of the Rings. It's fantasy that treats you like an adult.
Yeah.
It's not all like roses and fucking love and all that. It's dark and deep and sometimes depressing. It shows the dark sides of these ideas that we live off of. And I love that just the opening, like the introduction is Dream speaking that why he exists and like how sleep brings humans to his realm. And I love that concept. It's something that's like so it's so like, fuck, right? Yeah,
It's all right. It is hard to articulate. It's the word that you're looking for in terms of what it is it's gothic fantasy.
Yeah, you're right.
Like The Crow, or anything with a vampire in it, except Twilight.
Yeah, that's not anything.
Fucking sparkly fucks. But it doesn't play to it. I mean, it's not. There's a bit of swearing in it, which I could do without, honestly, which is a lot of cheek coming from me, honest. But that's fine. It feels out of place. I don't remember the comic being that potty mouthed, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But it's not playing for. It's playing for an adult audience. This isn't targeted at teenagers or children. Absolutely not. It's
absolutely
for people who understand the concept of life and death.
Yeah, very much so. And we as human beings, we try to give reason to literally everything we say, because all of us, even if you believe it or not, are just fucking control freaks.
Mm.
And we try our best to be in control of everything that we're doing and everything that's happening around us. And that's absolutely why the endless exist. Because we as humans, we can't just sit down and just let things happen. We need to have a reason to do things. And just like Death says in episode 8, they exist because of us. Because we need to have dreams. We need to have nightmares to appreciate the dreams, and we need to have dreams to appreciate the things that we don't usually appreciate.
It's also a way that you're... Sorry, cut you off. Go ahead.
No. It's just like... Oh, I was going to repeat myself again.
Well, don't. Dreams are like a way that... The way for your mind to process conflicts that it doesn't during waking hours. Things that you can't deal with. It's why you dream about certain things when you're worried about certain things. If you're worried about money, you dream about your fucking teeth falling out or something. There's correlations between the way the human mind processes actual trauma and, just day-to-day stuff as well. That, the subconscious part of the brain does very, very efficiently. And you can't do that without dreaming. I remember when I quit smoking weed years ago, I noticed that I started dreaming again. Like the weed would knock me out, that I wouldn't be in that waking place. Because you usually only remember the last little bit of your dream, because it's when you're starting to wake up is when you can recall them with accuracy. And nothing against smoking weed, but when you do that, you lose that. There's part of it that gets lost. A lot of people have said it to me. But noticing that those dreams coming back and being able to process the kind of stuff, I felt a bit lighter waking up in the morning, that's for sure. I probably didn't have a stone hangover too, but it does. And it speaks to that a lot because the actor, Tom Sturridge, is that his name?
Yep.
Fantastic. Just so...
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. He's so still and menacing, but also sweet and heartbroken. And they've done some wonderful work. I don't know how they did it, but I've been reading Sandman comics, like I said, since I was about 17. And as soon as he opened his fucking mouth, I'm like, that's the sound. Because in the comics, the word balloons for Dream are black with white text inside, then they're kind of got a white outline. So they're different than everybody else's word bubbles. And I don't know why, but it sounds deeper. I defy you. I was talking to another friend of mine, Laurie, who's like a novelist, and we were talking about it when you read something and whose head do you have, who are you hearing when you read something. And we talked about Sandman. I said, I've been hearing this guy for fucking the better part of 20 years. And she felt exactly the same way. So, and he lends, like his level of understanding of this character lends itself to bring you in, like yourself, who maybe is more familiar with fantasy in the traditional sense, into this. And he's a really good hero to follow, even though he's not always the hero.
Yeah, and that's something that I've also figured out about myself. That the more I grow up, the more I'm now interested into traditional heroes. I want characters like Morpheus to exist because that's the kind of characters that I can kind of relate with, and it's definitely not for everyone.
No,
but if you stick with it, the first 5 episodes are they're amazing moments, and then they're horrifying moments, and it goes both ways. But if you stick with it, it's something, and I hate to say this, it's so amazing, but people are not fucking talking about this.
Yeah, we chatted about that on the Comic-Con episode. I felt like there's a lot of stuff out there getting a lot of attention. For instance, all these people fucking the Flash movie and whatever's going on with DC and who's not doing this and who's not doing that. Would everyone, if they stop paying attention to that for 5 minutes and watch Sandman, you'd realize that, there's something at the bottom of the barrel here that people are missing, which is a real shame because it does. And it's great. It's got this two kind of, it's got like a 3-act structure, the entirety of the show, and each episode within it as well. But it also has 2 halves, separated definitively by what's the 6th episode called? On Her Wings or something?
The Sound of Her Wings.
Yeah, which is where Morpheus has I won't say what he's done, but in episode 5 he has a triumph, but he's despondent, he's depressed, he's sort of thinking about all the time that he lost, and he's sitting in a park feeding pigeons. Now, the arc of the entirety of the series pulls, cherry picks all the best stuff from all the best parts of the novel, the graphic novels, because it's all over the place. It doesn't do a through line. It sort of starts the way it starts, and then just the Corinthian comes in, and this happens, and then you got that episode which is all set in the diner. Which is
episode 5.
Yeah, remarkable piece of storytelling.
It's called 24/7.
Yeah, it's great, and it's basically what happens is our villain enchants a bunch of people in this diner, and they start kind of living out their fantasies over and over and over again. And as they get further and further down the cycle of what's normal human behavior, they start fucking eating each other, not literally, but there's some grotesquities, absolutely, but it's it has a point to make.
And all he does is he takes away lies. That's what he does.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And David Thewlis, who plays John Dee,
I had no fucking idea he was gonna show up.
It's the very man.
It's my jaw dropped. I was no, there's no I was holy shit. I'm a Harry Potter fan. I know him from that. But oh man, he was I genuinely felt for him, man.
He's a very tragic character, because he's been abused his whole life and mentally.
Yeah, sorry, but when you're saying that he's a bit depressed, I think when Morpheus is a bit depressed, I think he's depressed the whole show. He's the one sibling that hasn't grown up. He's stuck in that teenage kind of phase. It's weird because I'm saying that.
That's all right. You're a wise young man. You are wise beyond your years, sir. You have an old soul.
It's the guy at the tavern in 1889.
Oh
that
man,
guy.
That's the same episode, isn't it? That's the.
It's the same episode, and it's such a switch.
Yeah. There's an episode, because I don't know if you watched it or not, folks. This same episode in which Dream is sitting in the park feeding pigeons, and his sister comes along, Death, played by a wonderful actress whose name I don't know. I'm sorry, I should have done more research, but here we are. She's wonderfully, beautifully cast, and she kind of takes him. She says, "Stop being a fucking sad sack and come with me, and let's find some meaning here." And she's getting about and doing her job as Death, which is taking people to the other side. But in between this is a flashback story to Morpheus meeting a man in a tavern in, what is it, the 1400s or something like that. And I can't remember the exact date, but he overhears a conversation this person's having about wanting to be immortal, wanting to never die. There's just so much to do. And he's like, I'm going to give you immortality, and I'm going to meet you here every 100 years, and we're going to fucking talk about it, and you're going to get sick of it. I guarantee you. Kirby Howell... Ooh. Baptiste. That's such a baller-ass fucking name! Baptiste! That's the coolest shit. Yeah, Kirby Howell Baptiste. Oh, man. Anyway, she's really good. But so the B story of this episode is Dream going back to this same tavern and meeting this guy again and again. And he just loves it. He loves being immortal. Just he can't get enough. Sometimes he's destitute, sometimes he's super rich, sometimes he's got everything, sometimes he's got nothing, but he's like, I fucking love life. I wouldn't trade it for the world. And he teaches, in the end of the episode, Dream goes back and sees him again, you know, in modern times. And he teaches Morpheus so much about what the things that he thought he'd lost, which is time more than anything.
It's amazing because like they meet every 100 years, and he doesn't meet him in 1988. Dream doesn't meet him in 1989 because he pissed him off in 1889.
Yeah, that's right. That'd be like,
and
that's like me not doing the show for a month. Like, no, not having it. But yeah, and also for a portion of that time, he was also entombed in this fucking thing. You know, like
not a portion of time. It was a good century.
A good chunk of it. A good chunk of time. But
it was literally 100 years.
Yeah, it was. Was it more than 100 years? I thought.
No, it was literally 100 years.
100 years. That's on the button. There you go. Yeah. So that's, and you'll get that the episodes are, they're building a story that will, you know, move forward and hopefully go to a season 2. It hasn't been picked up or anything. I'm nervous.
It has.
It's been picked up for a second season?
I'm pretty sure there is a second season.
Well, fucking hallelujah. Because there's so much story here. There's so much to tell, and it's just wonderful. And, you know, we haven't even scratched the surface of Lucifer, played wonderfully by the big tall woman from Game of Thrones. What's her name?
Yeah, sorry. I'll because this open.
Yeah, just leave that open. We can talk about them.
She played Brienne of Tarth in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
The Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. Spoiler alert.
Well, there you go. You don't know her name, but you know she's like, okay, her name is Gwendolyn Christie. And then you have, they did a gender swap of John Constantine. It's Joanna Constantine. She was great. Yep. And that character, whether it's a woman or a man, I don't give a shit. It's one of my favorite characters. I love
Desire? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Constantine.
Yeah, got you, yeah.
And there's a lot to do there as well. You know, you could bring Swamp Thing in. You fucking absolutely could. Desire, who's played by a wonderful actor. I think I don't want to. I think they're a they. I don't want to say he or she. Yeah.
Mason Alexander Park.
Yeah.
They play Desire.
The God
incredibly.
Desire. Yeah, just so much. And it doesn't come off that thing that we've talked about before, where like villains are overly sexualized or glib or really cute or funny. Like they just have this wonderful way of being, this wonderful presence on screen that makes you uncomfortable because they do not have Dream's best interests at heart. And you really didn't get much of that character. I know that she was manipulating the Corinthian into place to kind of, you know, wanting to usurp Morpheus's power, basically. But there's a lot that could be done there. So I really do hope we get a season 2.
Yeah, I love it was Joanna Constantine.
Yeah.
I loved her. I loved her as Constantine. Like, is that okay to say that I loved her as Constantine?
Yeah, like I said before, I don't care what you do with that character. You could change their race or their sex or their creed, or the character isn't traditionally religious, but across a lot of religions, because he knows, or they know, that there's a lot of fucking different shit out there, and just the character of this gruff supernatural detective. Give it to me. I love it all. I have it all. That was the first few seasons of Supernatural. It was these two teenagers, all these two kids, 20-somethings or whatever they were at the time. Jensen Ackles was probably 42 or whatever, but sleeps in milk or something, that guy. He's completely blemishless. But it was just these two guys going out and solving supernatural crimes. It might be time for a Supernatural rewatch, But yeah, great character, and yeah, she was wonderful. Really great actress.
Oh yeah, and her episodes especially, because she knows where the sand is. It's when he's trying to find his thing, and like that episode.
The fucking beach.
Yeah, like I saw this interview with Neil Gaiman, and he said that there are a lot of dark things in this series, but there are also very beautiful things in this series, and like he says, if you have the courage to stick up through, or like till episode 5, episode 6 is a reward for you sticking around. And it's like the heaviness of every episode 5, which is the diner episode, contrast with episode 6, which is the episode of death.
Yeah.
It is amazing. And I love that episode because like I watched that episode and I couldn't stop thinking about it for like a week. And I texted you saying death is amazing.
Yeah. Such a great use of that character. I don't know what the possibility of having, because I mean, if they want to stay original and fresh, you could start veering away from the source material as well and tell new stories, which would be interesting, like the supplementary stuff in the secret 11th episode that dropped like after the week after the series dropped. Do stories that are disconnected from what's already been there. And you could bring Death back in and give her her own adventures. Give her her own show. Like I would take a universe of this stuff. Like this is right up my alley. My alley that is currently filled with
crime shows,
mystical people and stuff like that. And yeah, it's not crime shows, westerns. Thank you very much.
What? Yeah, sorry.
No, it's fine. It's really wonderful. It's a really wonderful show. It's doing things that no one else is doing.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that's a new step into fantasy, and I really, really hope that more people watch this, because, like, if you don't like fantasy, right? If you don't like Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, or like Game of Thrones, this is something that you might like. It's like the boys' version of. It's the same stories with fuck.
I can feel what you're trying to get out. This is in the way that The Boys is a balm to the saturation of superhero content that we currently have in mass media. Sandman is a balm to the fantasy stuff. The dragon in this show is a beautiful, loving puppy dog of a creature who dreams.
That's a gargoyle, by the way.
What's that? Gargoyle, sorry. Whatever.
Yeah.
What a giant lizard you can get fucked. Is the characters of Cain and Abel have this pet gargoyle, and Dream has to go there and kill it. Basically, he has to go and take it because he created this gargoyle. It was one of his dreams, and he said, "I need the power back in order to be able to find what I need to find across the multitude of infinite time and space and dimensions, and going to hell and all this stuff." There's a great episode in Hell where they have a bargain with the devil, and they have like a challenge of each other, like a challenge of wits. But yeah, he has to kill this beautiful gargoyle, and who's just a sweetheart, and then they birth a new one, Goldie, this little tiny little cute gargoyle thing. And that's anti House of Dragons, and also it doesn't. And not that I have a problem with House of the Dragon. I assume it's got a lot of sex in it. I don't know. I know that Game of Thrones had quite a few boobies and bits and pieces going on. God bless.
Yeah, not really.
Not so much. Whatever, you know.
Which I kind of find good because it's based on Targaryens and like
they don't have sex.
No, like Targaryens have sex with literally everyone.
Oh,
like especially their siblings.
Oh, terrific.
So yeah, so that show not having a lot of sex is a relief.
Right.
For me.
Okay. Yeah. There's not a lot of people having sex with their siblings in Sandman. I'll say that much. But yeah, it's the anti fantasy.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I love like at the end of episode 10, there's a room that Dream goes in and it has like different frames of things that he can hold and call his siblings from, and he calls it Desire because he figures out something. I'm not going to spoil. And Desire is inside the heart. Like it's a heart that he holds, and then Desire comes out. It was so amazing to see, like, because Desire is the deepest in the heart. So
it's littered with. If you're the kind of person who likes substance and theme and metaphor in your storytelling, this show is absolutely for you. You could go through each episode and pick out frames of the thing that are saying more than the words ever will. It's beautifully subtle in that respect. I think both me and Addie highly recommend The Sandman. We'll leave it there. We won't go into any more details about the actual story because we want you to go and enjoy it. And if you did enjoy it, then hey, go and enjoy it again. Fuck everybody. It's one of the best things on. But we do want to just hit on a couple of things. Addie, favorite moments and favorite characters. Want to do like what, top 3, top 11? Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do top 3 or top 4. What do you pick?
Cool.
What do you think?
Three's a prime number, I think. So let's go with 3.
Yeah, let's go with 3. All right. So we start from 3 to 1. Am I?
They're calling me. They're calling me.
Huh?
You probably can't hear it. It's vibrating on your desk. Addie phone jokes. Don't know what the fuck. All right. Well, you want to go? You want to go sip again?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, cool. So what's moments? Best moments?
Let's have our characters first. So let's go 3 to 1,
okay.
And then we go moments.
Okay. You the first.
No, you first.
Okay. Character number 3, favorite character number 3 is probably Abel. Because he's so sweet. He loves his brother so much, but knows that he is destined to be murdered over and over and over again. And yet he's so hopeful. And he loved that dragon. I just think he's a very sweet, warm character in what is a very dark show.
True.
I'm a big fan of hope.
We're like the biggest fans of Superman. Of course, you're a big fan of Hope.
Exactly. I love Hope.
Oh, by the time this comes out, I'm working. You can cut this part out. I just want to tell you, I'm working on a Why Superman Matters post. So awesome. That's a heavy one.
That's basically the story that Lois Lane writes in Superman Returns. At the end of it, why the world needs Superman.
I've not seen that.
You haven't seen Superman Returns?
The one with
Brandon Routh.
The one? Yeah, I've seen that one. I don't remember it.
Peep it again. It's worth your time. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your number 3 character?
It's hard, man. But yeah, it's not really a character. Like, you're gonna fucking laugh at me when I say that.
Why?
When I say what the characters. Is it that? My third favorite character in the whole show is Matthew the Raven.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good call. I'd forgotten about him. Fantastically voiced by Patton Oswalt.
Oh man, I heard that voice and I was like, what?
Yeah. It's a weird pull, honestly. Like, it's a weird... He doesn't seem to fit the material, yes, because he's a comic fan, but his voice doesn't seem to fit, an enchanted raven. You don't think Patton Oswalt straight away, anyway, but maybe it's just me.
Yeah, and like I watched Sandman, and then like I went and watched that clip of him where he tells the opening of like a Star Wars film that he was pitching in Parks and Rec. And I watched that scene, and then I watched the behind the scenes, and he goes on for like 10 fucking minutes. It's all improvised.
It's a proper filibuster. Yeah, that's a great... He's talking about how you get the Star Wars in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I was like, what?
So, okay, so character number 2, my favorite character number 2, is probably the Corinthian, because he's the opposite of Hope. But he's so... Like, as far as nightmares go, a guy who has teeth for eyes is pretty dope.
Scary.
And it's also he kind of, it's not his fault. He was created to be horror for people. He was created for terror, weaponized for terror. And it's, everybody has a lot of layers in this. Where they don't necessarily need to because they're villains, but there's something about him that just really speaks to me. There's a sadness there behind all the malevolence. So yeah, I think Corinthian does it for me.
Yeah. Also, this list does not include Morpheus, right?
No,
because he's the main character. Yeah.
Way too easy.
Yeah, way too easy. Although he's not my favorite anyway.
Yeah, true.
My number 2 is kind of is a tie between 3 people actually.
Okay.
So number 2 is Corinthian. There.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'll move around for you.
Yeah. Dude, we need to do a compilation. Every time you just like straight up you just freeze, man.
I'll do it for our 1 year anniversary. I'll do like a video of all the stupid shit that we've done. So
Corinthian. Joanna Constantine, because fucking hell. And Desire. We got like collective of 5 minutes of Desire, and it was amazing. I want more.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And I think I'm gonna surprise myself a little bit. It would be really easy to say my favorite character is Death, because I like characters who are sage to the hero, but and are also completely understand themselves and her place in things, and she's at peace with it, which is a great thing to be for anybody, to be at peace with yourself. Bruce Lee said it best. You can turn your body into the peak of physical perfection, to understand how that works, but to understand yourself, to understand the mind, that's a larger battle. And she does understand that. So I think she would probably be my number 1. But I really I can't remember the character's name who Death, meets every 100 years. Do you remember the character's name?
Oh, that's bad, because I watched the fucking episode last night.
Yeah, look that up for me. But
it's called Hob Gadling.
Hobber Gadling.
Hob. It's HOB.
What is it?
Yeah, Hob Gadling.
Hob
Gadling.
Is he first name Hob?
Yes.
His first name's Hob.
Yes.
Okay, so Hob, Gobby. Don't just say Gobby on camera, Regan. Jesus Christ. I like him because I relate to that. I'd love to be immortal. Yeah, I understand that, you would get tired of it and you would see all the people who you care about perish. But I want to see how it ends, you know? So yeah, that tied with death for my favorite character. How about you? What's your favorite character? Drum roll, please.
You're gonna hate me for this, but yeah, you already hate me. This is not a problem.
What? Under what circumstances that come up? Never true.
I have no idea. Yeah, my favorite character is Death. I knew the moment I saw her, I was like, yeah, that's my favorite character.
Of course, yeah. And so beautifully played by a woman whose last name is Hal Baptiste. Fuck, I'm going to write a spy novel with that name in it. Christ. Yeah, wonderful, wonderful character. So let's go through our moments, our 3 favorite moments of the series. You have to go first.
Why?
Because I went first the last time. Smarty pants.
Am I the smart one here?
How are you the smart one? Because that's just a fact, pal. I am 3 or 4 chromosomes short of being a grapefruit over here.
Okay, well, I have like 2.5 brain cells.
2.5 men.
So what? No.
I always like that Family Guy gag where it's literally a man, like it's 2 guys and a man who's been cut in half. It always made me laugh. Just cut them back to 2.5 men, and it's just this guy screaming because he doesn't have legs. So funny. Anyway, all right. I will go first then. Number 3 is probably nostalgic reasons more than anything. The image of Death being released from bondage and opening up the portal, and his sort of hands fly back. You'll find it, you know, if you look online, as he sort of gets drawn towards the light. That was such a striking image in the books that I never forgot. Like, it was always crystal clear in my mind. You know, the same as in Dark Knight Rises when he turns up in the Dark Knight Returns, when he turns up in the armor to fight Superman. Like, it was etched in my brain, and to see it, you know,
Batman v Superman.
Yeah, at the end of Dark Knight Returns, the comic book.
Okay.
They did
Sorry.
clip a little bit, you know, from the movie, obviously, from the comic book for the movie. But yeah, that as an image just always stuck out. What's your number 3?
It's really weird, but my number 3 is the Joanna Constantine episode where like she's doing the exorcism in the church, and like,
oh yeah,
the bride is the one who's supposed to be possessed, but it's the husband, and like the demon crawls out of the fucking mouth of the human decoy. I was sitting like this because like that episode, like a lot of shit goes down after that episode, and I was not prepared for a fucking hand to show up out of the fucking mouth.
Why would you?
I was just not prepared.
I think that doesn't normally happen. So, yeah, that's very cool. That's very cool. That whole episode is awesome. My number 2 is the. Hang on. Oh, that's tough now.
I know, right? I really hope our 1 and 2 don't like match.
Yeah, I think it's probably the end of the Death episode where she's the guy tries to like hit on her, the soccer player, and then they hear a crash and he's like, "Oh, what was that?" And she goes, "Come with me. You know, I've got to show you something." And you know, because you've been through the episode with her, what it is. Just really good storytelling. Just really good setting up and payoff and delivery and payoff. You know, of a theme is really, really strong.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I saw it in like an Easter egg breakdown video or something, because I watched those.
Yeah. Why not?
Well, like, yeah. The interesting part is that whole episode, she never addresses herself as Death. She doesn't address herself as anything except that she's Dream's sister.
Yeah.
And like she's wearing she's wearing a locket that has a symbol on it. And it's a symbol of life, I think.
Yeah.
I just
very, very indicative of the character and has been for as long as it's been around.
Yeah, I just found that very interesting. That's not my number 2 though.
Okay, what's your number 2?
All right, this is spoilers here, a bit. My number 2 is Dream's judgment of the serial killers.
What's that?
Dream's judgment of the serial killers, where he's finally able to find the Corinthium.
Oh,
And-
right, yep.
Yep, because we've skipped that whole part out because it's so important. we haven't talked about that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah, I think it's yeah, I kind of left that because that's pretty big in the whole plot of the thing. But yeah, not giving away too much. Yeah, that's a pretty that whole back 2 episodes, supremely good.
yeah, like where he says, so this is my judgment to you, that you from now shall remember what you have done.
Yeah,
And
Oh.
it's
so good. And the guy,
it's so emo, man. Like
it's so emo.
dude, it's fucking here. Like my dude, and it's something that like I don't laugh that much in like fantasy shit. But like when in episode 6 he's sitting on the bench when Death shows up for the first time, and she's like, you know how stupid you are because your little game is finished and you don't have the ball to find a new one? And he's like, what? I'm just feeding the birds. I'm like,
a bit emo. Yeah, let's be honest. But oh well.
yeah. Number 1.
Number one for me is the Gregory's death, the gargoyle.
Oh.
I knew nothing about this character. All I knew, maybe it's the softie in me, maybe it's because I lost a pet this year. I just felt like the sacrifice of Gregory and his willingness to do so to help his creator, it made me tear up. It's
Yeah.
What else can you ask from your where you find your fiction than to be moved? So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's even more heartbreaking because he knows that he has to do it and he does it willingly. And
And just how Kane reacts to it as well is just Abel reacts to it. That had me like as good as the first episode was, and sort of was a really good representation of the first arc of the book. Seeing that happen was special.
yeah.
And your number 1, a drum roll. Bra-ta-ta-dum. Pa-ra-pa-pum-pum.
I really want to say
Some gifts for you, they're up in my bum. It's a great Family Guy gag. Oh, fuck.
oh, it's a Family Guy. I was like, what?
Family Guy gag. Yeah, that was my very bad Peter Griffin. Sorry, keep going.
No, it wasn't. I just didn't connect it because I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's a Christmas episode where he brought out a Christmas album, and it was just ridiculous. Sorry, your number 1 favorite moment, please.
I really, really want to say like the whole episode of Death, because that's my
You can say whatever you want. This is our podcast. If people don't like it, they can get their own.
It's back. I would probably it's I'm gonna say this again, spoilers again, but if you've listened to like this part, I think you watched the show if you listened to it until this part. This is where it's the same episode of Dream's judgment, but it's the conversation between him. It's when he says, "Oh, you're not going back. You were created to." I'm fucking up, man, because I don't remember what he says.
That's all right.
But yeah, I think he says something along the lines of, "You were created for them to have hope that if there's darkness, there's also light. That's why you were important, but you've become something that you were never intended to be.
Yeah.
So I can't have you. Or something like that. And like at the end where he creates an angel out of he rebirths the nightmare that he takes away, and creates her as like a beautiful dream or an angel or something. Like the contrast of him just, and it's like his journey of just learning and growing.
And becoming, accepting that humanity has something to offer when he was imprisoned by it for so long and lost all hope, because he's a broken person at the beginning, no longer able to do his job effectively or relate to the people around him. And then in the end, he's building again. He's making new dreams. He's making new realms. Yeah, it's a wonderful story. And it sneaks up on you too, because there's so much going on around him. It'd be easy to miss his arc. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's just like you said, like those two episode 9, episode 8. Like the whole storyline that we left out is one of the greatest storylines in fiction. And it's also honorable mention. I really like the part where Dream holds up the guy who stole his ruby. He holds him up in his palm and he says, "You surprised me. You destroyed the ruby, and that's something I did not intend."
Yeah, and you've released me from the bondage I didn't know I had. Yeah, and that's such an amazing, so well realized, that image of him very small in Dream's hand and the huge hand. That's pretty striking image from the book as well, and they've rendered it beautifully. You know, again, it's absolutely not real, but it lives in the reality of what's happening in a way that some other stuff doesn't. It's a wonderful program. Go and check it out, and also check out the 11th episode, the secret 11th episode. Addie, I'm talking to you as well. You know, it just enriches. It's like a short story set in that world. There's 2 of them. One of them kind of gives you some more backstory around Morpheus, but also the story is self-contained. It's about a writer who had a very successful first novel and can't write his second one. He's got writer's block, so he buys a muse off another writer and imprisons her so that he can, you know, have these ideas. And yeah, it doesn't go well for him or anyone else really. And the other one is an animated a short about a kitten dreaming, and it's fucking adorable in all the best ways. And not just because there's kittens in it, but because it's just a beautiful little story about this, you know, cats rising up from being enslaved by humans, and then it's just this kitten having a dream. It's just, yeah, it's really lovely, and it should be checked out.
So it's like the Love, Death, Robots episode, but based in the endless universe.
Does, yeah. It's got that. It has that feel about it too. It's not as well done as that, because that was, you know, they're obviously, Love, Death, and Robots is doing that very specifically. But yeah, it did like that. Yeah. So that's it for the Film Addicts podcast for another week. But before we go, do we have any questions?
We do. We have 2 questions, and
the double. Oh, the double.
Yep.
Sorry, it's question time. I start getting a bit weird without fun. Yeah. I have had a lot of.
You know what? Let's do this. Episode 20, right?
Yep. It's coming up.
It's coming up. By the time this comes out, you might have already recorded it.
Next week, because the Miss Marvel and Love and Thunder episode is.
Yeah, that drops tonight, brother.
This is this week, yeah, and then so Sandman will be next week, so it'll be the week after we do 19. Yeah, this will have come out by the time.
Yeah. So let's do this. Let's have like the question thing on our Instagram, not be about a certain subject, and just like 20 episode special, ask us anything, or we just go mad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's going to happen anyway. But before we get into them, here's the theme song. Okay, so what is the question? The first.
The first question is: do you all want the Joanna Constantine spin-off? Yes.
Yes, please. Absolutely. Why not?
I want a Joanna Constantine spin-off, and I want a Death spin-off.
Yep. Yeah, I'll agree with both of those. Also, I mean, there's nothing stopping you. A little inside, I wrote a pilot for a TV show in the middle of last year, and I'd been pitching it to a bunch of different people. And the person who was most interested in the lead role was female, and it's written for a man. And then I'm like, why the fuck can't I just switch it? I could absolutely switch it. There's nothing in there that says that the person has to be of any specific gender. But then I also thought, wouldn't it be interesting to do it, like switch it every week? You know, have a different person play it every week and see if you could still get an audience to pay attention to a rapidly changing narrative based on who is playing the character. You could do that and then have, you know, someone come in and play Constantine as a man or as someone who's, you know, non-binary or whatever, you know, just to have different ideas. So yeah, do a Constantine spin-off, and you've got the Joanna stories and John's stories and Jeb's stories and whoever else you want to do. So I'm in for that.
Joffrey stories.
Yeah, and I mean, Death could be represented by anybody. This incarnation, the way that Dream sees her is you know a black woman or African English, I guess she would be called. I'm not really sure what the correct terminology is. Sorry, but yeah, but it's to someone else. It could be, you know, a 14-year-old Chinese kid. Who knows? Just it is what it is. So yeah, yes to both of those things. Yes
to all of those things. I like. The whole switching out the actor part could be very ambitious, but if there's one place that could work, it's Netflix.
Yeah, well, that's who I'm marketing it for.
Yeah. Oh, so this is your pitch for this week then?
We love your idea, actually. You should come to our thing. It's we've got Sandman and all sorts of stuff. And Rick and Morty. Oh, Addy's in serious concert with someone. He's got to get up. He's getting something. Handing someone a charger. I wonder if they can hear me. Take the charger. Gonna charge up your finger. Charge something up. Gonna charge it up. Charge up the phone.
Yeah, I need you to do that again because I didn't hear a single part of it.
Talking a bunch of fucking nonsense. Okay. And question the second.
Oh, yeah. Question the second.
Yeah.
Why would you do that to me, man?
What?
I hate it. Cause, like, I don't hate it. I love it so much that, like this is the Q&A time, man. Like, I was watching, like, Game of Thrones before, like, House of the Dragon came on. And then House of the Dragon comes, and then there's, like, Aegon, the second of his name. And I was like, why don't we still do that? Why is that the thing that we left off?
Yeah. Like, yeah. Why isn't someone the third or whatever? Yep.
Yeah. I mean, we have...
Wood, the third of his name. By gum. Oh, shout out to my dad as well. Wood the second, who got a fucking hole-in-one at golf this week.
What?
I know, right? He sent me a video. My dad, Steve Wood is his name. We just call him the Woo. But yeah, he's a wonderful bloke. Lives in Queensland, and he's an avid golfer. Has been for years. We play golf together sometimes. I'm not any good. I mean, neither is he most of the time. But yeah, fucking a hole-in-one. Do you know how rare that is? On a par 3 as well. It wasn't like a short course or anything. A par 3's, you know, fair distance, a few hundred meters. And he was with a friend, so I know it's the truth, and there's no reason to lie to me. And he did a video of him like walking up to the hole the whole way, videoing, going, I think it's in. And the guy's like, how long have you been playing golf, Steve? And he's like, 45 years or something. First hole in one ever. And the camera pans down to look into the hole, and he's like, oh, magnificent. And then the video cut out, and I was like, oh man, what a pimp. Anyway, congratulations, Dad. I don't know if he listens to the podcast. It's probably not up his alley. Anyway, what are we talking about? Question number 2?
Yeah. Question the second.
Question the second.
Oh, okay. Favorite episode. I was really excited for this question. I didn't read that.
We kind of did it. Yeah, it's absolutely the episode 6.
Episode 6.
Just masterclass in complex narrative, made simple. You know, there's some big themes going on there, and some big characters, and some larger than life ideas. Immortality being one of them. I don't think people process that as a concept outside of fiction, outside of literature, like actually thinking to yourself the possibilities of immortality. I don't think people delve into that very often. So yeah, really, really great.
Yeah. It's a great show all over, through and through.
And we recommend it.
And yeah. And like I've said it before, I'll say it again. Episode 6, it's spectacular, and you can watch it after watching the whole show, and just watch that episode and you'll appreciate it even more.
Yeah, you can go back to you can go back to any of them really. You can sort of drop in on particularly the first 6 episodes, yeah, and they have self-containedness to them as well. But I think me and Addie give them 2 anthropomorphic crow wings up, and watch it right now. Because Netflix needs the money.
Oh my God, they really do.
I fucking hate that guy. Fuck off, Disney Plus. You're not involved today. Amazon Prime just sounds like rockets taking off. Anyway, after all that nonsense, thank you so much for coming and joining us back here at the Film Addicts Podcast. We're so happy to have you. Addie, you're a treasure. And
you are.
And I fucking treasure you, mate.
I love you so much, dude. And to anyone who doesn't know, I tagged you in. I got a question asking who's the sexiest person you know. It's you.
I saw that. Your friends group's obviously very small.
Yes, it's 18 people.
It's 18 people. That's totally fine. If I was the sexiest person amongst 18 people, that's still pretty good fucking odds.
No, like it's the close friend story. So
yeah, well, no, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I'm just happy to be here. Fuck it.
This month is also Suicide Prevention Month. So anyone who's suffering, anyone who's struggling, you are loved. You matter, and do not give up hope. And we all love you, and you're amazing.
Beautiful words to live by, folks. And thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much for listening. Also, one more thing. I completely forgot. I'm sorry. I really want to thank everyone because we don't check our views. And the Legacy of Spider-Man episode, the second one with talking about the Amazing Spider-Man films, it has 2.3 thousand views. How?
On YouTube?
On YouTube.
That's awesome.
Like if that was Spotify, I would still be like, I would still understand. It's on YouTube. It's awesome. Thank you so much for everyone. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening.
And you come back next week and enjoy it some more. And we'll see you then.
Yes, we'll see you then. Stay awesome, stay amazing, and stay safe.
You forgot your own fucking tagline, buddy. You want to take the second take?
Take care.
And action.
Stay awesome and stay safe.